The feds found out exactly what Diddy been doing to Kim Porter, tdjakes, Tupac, and they even found out about Craig Mack, y'all. If y'all rocking with Craig Mack, Tupac, Kim Porter, and Biggie, and Heavy D, I want y'all to comment down below, put 222, like the video, and subscribe, because the justice is now coming closer and closer. Everybody's been waiting for this day. We've all been sitting back and seeing everything, all the stories coming out, and we can't believe Diddy was doing this, man, to his own people like that. We trusted Diddy into him getting billions and billions of dollars, and this is how people get repaid. That's why you can't trust nobody. A lot of people, man, the jealousy, the envy, the greed, but the money got to Diddy's head, man. You can't take a person like that and then introduce money into the situation. If people would have known that this is how Diddy was going to end up like, and this is how he was going to act, they never would have worked with him in the first place, man. Including Cassie, Jennifer Lopez, Kim Porter might have still been here, who knows, right? Tupac and Biggie could have still been around if Biggie would have worked with somebody else. You know, at the end of the day, that Sugeknight and Diddy was going back and forth on who was going to have the top artist, who was going to do this, who was going to do that. And at the end of the day, people got to realize that this is all just coming down to a couple of things, man. The fact that Tupac tried to warn everybody about this before it was too late, but nobody was listening like that. They all was thinking maybe he was saying this because it was the East Coast West Coast beef was going on at the time, maybe because Sugeknight didn't like Diddy, maybe because it was a whole lot of things that were happening in the mix at that time. But Keefe D, he started talking, and he actually was the one who pretty much put the feds on to Diddy, and then this is what made Cassie come next, and then the next people and the next people. At the end of the day, whatever happened to Kim Porter, like, they're gonna find that out, man, and the justice is gonna be served, and the family's finally gonna be able to sit back and sleep at night, because they know that they still have to solve the Tupac case, they still have to solve the Biggie case, they still have to solve the Kim Porter case. And what happened to Heavy D and what happened to Craig Mack? Why are people saying that Diddy has something to do with that too, man? Everything alleged in entertainment purposes, but at the end of the day, people know that there's actually connections between all of the things that's been happening and all of the things that Diddy's been doing, man. And you see how he wrote the $1 million check to get Tupac. What if that same exact thing was happening to a lot of places? If he was willing to do that, then that means you can't put anything past him, really. If somebody was willing to go to the fullest extent to take the $1 million check and write it to get somebody like literally deleted and everything like that, then that means that they basically would do whatever, man. And so this is why you can't trust people like that. Whatever made P. Diddy end up being that type of person is what everybody got to watch out for, because people got to stick together, man. You cannot let this happen. We got to make sure that there's not another Diddy out here doing the same things and then ended up like doing all of this stuff to Cassie that ended up coming out. Not only was he getting the rappers hit up allegedly, but he was also doing all of these things to the girlfriends, the exes, the past relationships, people inside of Bad Boys, people from the reality TV shows. This is why the people stopped buying Sean John a long time ago. They started throwing Sean John clothes in the dumpster at the Dillards, the Neiman Marcus, the Macy's, and everything like that. They stopped doing all of the shows that Diddy was on. That, like, we haven't heard a Diddy song in a long time, because people, they want to distance themselves now. No one wants to go down with Diddy, like trying to be there and trying to get money from him, and then also come crashing down with the way that his whole allegations is bringing him down and everything like that. People are starting to wake up and they seeing things for what it really is, man. A lot of people, they were duped and double crossed by P. Diddy. He used a lot of people to get into the position that he was. This is why he don't feel sorry for nobody, and a lot of people don't feel sorry for P. Diddy anymore, because they know for a fact that he was a grown man and made these decisions on his own. Nobody told him to do these things to Cassie. Nobody told him to write $1 million check to Tupac. This was something that, through his own, like, wanting to take care of himself first and forget about everybody else, he was basically being selfish by saying that he's the one that wanted to survive the East Coast West Coast. And what Gene Deal told everybody about how he heard coming out of P. Diddy's mouth how he said he don't care if Biggie gotta get hit up or Pac gotta get taken out the way for Diddy to be the one to survive. And this is exactly how it played out. That's why the feds, they're serious with the matter. They're going in, they're getting all the surveillance footage from around that time. They spoke to the Tupac witnesses, they spoke to Keefe, and they called Sugeknight. And they basically sent a warning to everybody saying, if there's any information y'all are still hiding, you better come forward with it now, because the RICO charge, that's gonna really find out everything. They got the informants already behind the scenes that's been working with Diddy the whole entire time. If Gene Deal knows all of this info, what do you think that the informants that was working behind the scenes know? They've been putting people into places to basically get the intel, and this is how all of the details from Diddy came out. This is what spooked Keefe into coming forward and even starting to put the whole thing together, and that's why the feds ended up catching him. They knew that Keefe had the info they needed to start the RICO because of the Tupac situation. But then when Cassie came in and with the accusations, and she brought up the list in the court documents that DJ Academics showed to everybody, in the documents it literally states exactly what the DA was going to charge PDiddy for what he did to Cassie. And this is what made him get on high alert and literally send the $30 million payment by the next morning. It wasn't even a full 24 hours. That's how you know that Diddy has something to do with it, that he was possibly guilty, because of the fact that he actually sent the money from the ransom. It was not even a ransom, because the ransom would mean that he didn't do nothing and that they just want the money anyways. But it's not a ransom, because he had to send the money in order for him not to get the info like out into the major outlets, because there's a lot of stuff that they didn't explain in the paperwork, because Diddy already paid the $30 million. They didn't want to hit it with the unfiltered version that shows you the footage plus the exact words that Diddy was saying and the detailed report of how he was actually mistreating and misusing Cassie and all of the other people that he had locked up in the basement and everything like that. And this is something that nobody should do, because the people that Diddy was messing with and he basically was having things happen to, they didn't deserve any of this. They just wanted to live a regular life. They wanted to do their music and they wanted to make their money, but they didn't think that it was going to come at this cost. They didn't think that they was going to have to deal with P. Diddy every day, having to throw some curveball at them, making them do things that wasn't comfortable with them, making them basically sign away all of their rights, the freedoms and everything to Diddy. Like, he was getting most of the bread. He was basically giving them the allowance as their paychecks and everything. This is why a lot of people couldn't leave Diddy. Like Cassie, she couldn't quit because she doesn't know where she's gonna go to work. Maybe Diddy would have been able to call around all the big bosses and pretty much tell them to not mess with Cassie no more. That was their worst nightmare, was that if they did leave Diddy and they ran away from all of these problems and everything like that, they would lose the fame and the fortune, but they don't know where they would be able to get something like that at again. And so this is why it was a tough decision for a lot of people, and it was messing with their heads. Cassie, she was crying, she was distraught. When Mike Tyson found out about this, he knew that this was going on for many years. He was already kind of on high alert and had his antennas up when the Tupac situation happened, because everybody went to the Mike Tyson fight when the Tupac whole thing went down, and Mike Tyson and Tupac was best friends, and Mike Tyson knew the things that Diddy was doing that he was wrong for, man. And this is why Mike Tyson never is seen with Diddy. Like, he don't like Diddy for the reason that he got his best friend hit up, Tupac. And Mike Tyson knows the details and the facts because he spoke with the other celebrities. He spoke with the people in New York. He's been doing fights in New York, and he literally heard from the sources of the actual things that Diddy was doing and the reports that was going on in the late 90s, the early 2000s. Like, this is why Mike Tyson and Tupac try to warn a lot of people into saying, hey, be careful when you're going over there, when you're caught up and working with these people and that, because at the end of the day, everybody got ulterior motives. Diddy was trying to get a whole type of thing done and make it a certain way, and other people, they was just trying to have fun and network and meet people and be able to collaborate. But the whole time Diddy had plans and he wanted people to do these certain things, and Mike Tyson and Tupac was telling them, hey, watch out for this. Like, you could go and see what Columbus Short was talking about, the Kevin Hart and the Usher situation, what Diddy did with tdjakes and all these other people. There's so many names, but I want to send the condolences to the people who aren't here here to tell their side of the story, which is Tupac, Biggie, Kim Porter, Heavy D, Craig Mack. The list goes on and on and on. And you could comment and tell me anybody that got left out in this, because now the justice is going to be served for everybody. And it's been 30 years. It's been way too long. People have been sitting back and waiting, and they've been dealing with the consequences of the repercussions from the results of dealing with Diddy and his actions that he chose to do as a grown man. And this is all coming back on him because there's a lot of karma from the situation. The karma from them messing with Tupac. They should have left Tupac alone. The karma from Biggie. They should have never did anything to Biggie. They should have left Biggie alone, man. And Kim Porter. Kim Porter didn't deserve for anything to happen to her like that, man. They should have left her alone a long time ago. And this is why the karma is coming back on P. Diddy after all these years, and he's getting caught red-handed. How is it that surveillance footage is still around from when he had them people locked up in the bottom of his house? How come the witnesses from the Tupac all of a sudden coming out from the woodworks? How is Keefe, the dude who said he would never snitch in his life, ends up doing a whole episode of snitching on Vlad TV, then goes to another place, Art of the Dialogue, then he snitches on himself there. He literally tells about how Diddy wrote the $1 million check. He incriminated Diddy. He put the feds onto him and basically made it to where he catches a case, because he says he's not going down for this alone. He never got the $1 million. They did the hit on Tupac, and Diddy didn't keep his word. And so there's a whole inner feud between Diddy and his hitmen, and that's what's going on. And this is why Sugeknight, he stepped back from the situation, and he's looking at it from their point of view, and he's saying, you know what? Diddy was wrong for that, and he wasn't going to come out and try to explain who exactly hit up Tupac, because a lot of people thought that Sugeknight was the one that did it. And now he's coming back after all these years, and he's saying, you know what, the justice will be served because they got Keefe D, and he's already telling on Diddy. Sugeknight never had to come out and make the statement himself, but he knows that the justice is coming because he knows what Keefe D said about P. Diddy, and what all the other people think about it, they all think it's true. And this is why the whole feds are raiding in, and NYPD is looking into it, and they're trying to basically get Diddy on all of these things right before the feds come and raid and everything like that. They already got him for Cassie, they got him for Tupac, they're getting him for Biggie, they're getting him for everything, man. And everything that's happening is not for no coincidence. This is because it's karma, and it's happening after all the years. Diddy thought he got away with whatever he got away with, but he forgot to realize that they still open cases, and that he never paid Keefe D, and Keefe D was the type of person who could have maybe a revenge against Diddy and come out and literally say all the details about the things that Diddy did. Everything that he did in the dark is finally coming to light, and people are starting to seek justice for Tupac. They're trying to seek justice for Kim Porter. I want to send my condolences to Tupac's mother and brother, Biggie's mom, everybody that got affected by the situation. They all pretty much advocating to get their justice for their families very, very soon. And now the feds are gonna come through, and they basically gonna make the final decision. So y'all gotta stay subscribed for the big updates that's about to come out.